Okay, so very much welcome on this first webinar of the CloudiFacturing project. And as Andre said, I just very briefly would like to take your attention and direct you some very important documents which we have prepared already and which we are still preparing for the official 1st of July launch of the open call. So first of all, I would like to navigate you to the CloudiFacturing website, which I believe that most of you are familiar with. So if you go to the CloudiFacturing website, which you should now see on my screen, then you will find the announcement of the open call, and you will find the already published documents, which I'm just circling now. These are the guide for applicants and the proposal template, which is already available on the CloudiFacturing website. You will find further information, for example, a short technical description by the 1st of July, also published here. Also on the website, if you go to a different section, you will find our FAQ sections, so that is frequently asked questions, and you can find a lot of information here. I will come back to this later on. So first, I just wanted to kind of show you that on the website all this information is available. Now, regarding the details, I would like to show you two major documents which you have to be aware of, and as I said, those are already available on the website. The first one is, which is on my screen at the moment, is the proposal template. So this is the template which you must download in Word format and must complete if you are applying for an experiment. No other application is accepted, so you must use our proposal template in order to apply for the call. If you are accustomed to European project proposals, you are going to see that our proposal template is much more lightweight than any European project proposal. You have to write much less, and the overall length of the proposal obviously is much shorter than in a European project. So if very briefly I just give you a guidance what is in this template. So we have a cover page which you can see at the moment, and where we would like you to list all the partners in your consortia. As Andre has already explained, the minimum number of partners in a consortium is 2. You need at least one end user and an ISV or independent software vendor or value-added reseller who acts as the software provider or software vendor. But optionally, you can have additional partners, for example, engineering consultants, for example, digital innovation hubs or resource providers, and so on. And obviously, you have to provide details for these partners. I just would like to highlight a few things which you have to keep in mind. So first of all, we would like all partners to provide their European Commission provided PIC or participant identification code number. This is required to put in the proposal. We do not want you to go through, if you have not gone through already, the full EC validation process. So if you read the notes down here, it says that we do not require you to be fully validated by the European Commission, but we would like to ask you to register for a participant identification code number. That is usually much more lightweight process, and that can be done in a very short time. So that is not putting too much burden on you. Also, some additional information, for example, whether you are new to European Commission projects or you have participated in projects, or whether you are new to CloudiFacturing technology or not, that also need to be indicated. As Andre said, we want end users to be new to our CloudiFacturing technology, definitely. So then if I scroll down further, then you will see that in the next page you have to provide which digital innovation hubs you have consulted or you are planning to work with during the proposal preparation phase, but also during the project phase if you are accepted. And you have to name one of our digital innovation hubs, which was already which was already shown on the slide. I hope you can still see my screen because it has disappeared for me for a moment.
Yeah, now we can see.
So, okay, thank you. Or additionally, you can name another digital innovation hubs, which you may include in your project proposal. But if you select a different innovation hubs from the one which we already incorporate in the project, then as you will see in section 7 of the proposal, you have to provide further justification. So then you must provide justification very specifically based on the guidelines which we published. And again, I'm going to get back to those guidelines in a few minutes time. So after that one, you got coordinator and experiment leader, and obviously an abstract, keywords, and so on. And then you will see the table of content, which is fixed, and you must address these 7 points plus the 2 annexes in your proposal. So if I go into some further details, then the first point in your application is the industrial relevance. This is a maximum 2-page summary, and you have to describe what kind of production manufacturing processes, manufacturing tools you are going to use in the simulation, what is the duration and cost of the production and manufacturing process, what software will be used to be cloudified, does the simulation already exist, or you are planning to develop it, and so on. And most importantly, for both end users and for independent software vendors, what kind of benefits you are expecting by the end of the experiment. So this should be
Tamas, a short comment from my side. So from our experience in CloudiFacturing and also past projects, we actually recommend not to try your simulation software from scratch in these experiments. So the experiments only last for 1 year, and it may be risky to start from a non-existing simulation software. So the idea is more you already have a product, or you add value to an open source simulation tool by cloudifactoring it and tailoring it to the needs of your end user partner, and by that means provide the basis to gain these benefits and the impact that you are stating then further down here on this page.
Thank you, Andre. So as I said, in 2 pages, you provide this overview of the industrial relevance of your project. And as part of this 2-page overview, we would like to ask you to provide KPI metrics. And these KPI metrics are regarding the potential impact of the project for all commercial partners. So we suppose that your consortium will include mainly commercial partners. Obviously, academic institutions and research institutions can complement the consortium, but every commercial organization must provide these KPIs, which are a prediction within 5 years after the end of the project. Is that, sorry, 1 year and 5 years after the end of the project, regarding what kind of new products and services they are going to provide, what kind of turnover increase they are going to provide, how many new people they envisage to employ as the direct outcome of this project. You have seen examples for these in Andre's presentation previously, both from the CloudiFacturing project and also from previous projects from Cloudflow and Cloud SME, when it was demonstrated how companies actually benefited from this experiment. So we would like all commercial partners to provide an overview here. Now, if I go to section 2, that is regarding your dissemination and exploitation strategy. And that is a short 1-page description. Okay, so that you have to provide a very brief summary of your dissemination and exploitation plan and strategy. So this should include issues like how you are going to address the market, what kind of dissemination activities you are planning, how your results will be exploited beyond the duration and the lifespan of the experiment. And this is very, very important, because we would like you to actively and commercially exploit the results of the experiment. It's not enough that you develop something technically. We definitely would like to put the emphasis on commercial exploitations, and we would like to see a very clear plan how this will be commercially exploited. Also, what we would like to ask you to do is that we are going to set up a marketplace, which we are calling the CloudiFacturing marketplace, and we would like to market and commercialize your product in that marketplace as well. So we would like to see your plans, how you are going to use and how you are going to utilize the CloudiFacturing marketplace. Information about... Yes.
Sorry, Tamas, may I comment on this as well? Just to avoid misunderstandings. We like to give you an opportunity to exploit the results. So we don't want to make money out of your results. It's your results. You are the IPR holders, and the marketplace is our vehicle for you to broaden reach out. That is the idea. And how this kind of marketing is being done, and who is taking which kinds of shares from revenues that come via the marketplace. This is part of the experiment work, where we are consulting with the help of one partner. It's UTSI, it's a business school from Switzerland that is helping you to think about and providing ideas. What is a business model that fits to a cloud-based offer? I hope that I have added value with my comment and not confused partners.
Thank you, Andrew. So regarding the future sustainability and exploitation, we would like to also see your plans beyond the project. So we would like to see that you think about keeping up running this partnership, keeping up running this collaboration beyond the lifetime of the project. And we would like to see your plans regarding that. As in the previous section, we would like to see this plan both from the end users and also from the software vendors or value-added resellers point of view, and also from the other relevant stakeholders' perspective. So that's quite important, again, because we would like to see not only technical results, we would like to see exploitation and commercialization of the results. Obviously, from your side, as Andre mentioned, so we not necessarily would like to, but we would like to encourage you to exploit your own results. So next section, section 3, is experiment design. Again, this is maximum 1 page. And I would like to emphasize that these page limits are hard. So that means that if you are overflowing this page limit, then the reviewers will not be obliged to read whatever you have written beyond that particular page. So in this particular section, we would like to see, we would like you to answer questions such as what are the driving questions for your experiment? What do you want to learn? What do you want to know? What do you want to prove with your experiment? How will your experiment provide evidence and answers to these driving questions? What are the key aspects of your experiments, and what are the steps to achieve these goals of yours? What are your performance indicators and how you are going to measure them regarding the efficiency of the cloud-based simulation and improving your processes? And again, you have to discuss these not only from the technical but also from the economic perspectives as well. So again, you have to provide a generic overview regarding the design and the design principles of your experiment. In section 4, you have to go into the details of the technical approach. So again, this is a slightly longer section, and we would like you to write 2 pages maximum about your technical approach. So this means that we would like, again, you answer questions of what are the building blocks of your simulation. So for example, what components of your software you are going to use, what is the process in order to do that, what changes you plan to perform on the building blocks. So when you cloudify your software, then what are the major steps to carry out? As Andre mentioned previously, we would prefer experiments where you are not starting developing simulation software from scratch, but you concentrate more on the cloudification, on the cloud-based support of the software, or extending it with kind of advanced CloudiFacturing tools and solutions, for example, advanced data analytics or advanced visualization solutions and so on, but not the core simulation development. Also, how these building blocks are related, how they are integrated, interplay with each other, how they are going to integrate, how they are going to be integrated into the CloudiFacturing platform, how does the experiment expand existing services, applications, workflows, and so on, how it is complementary to existing ones. And again, we would like you to very specifically concentrate on challenges which the CloudiFacturing project is especially interested in. So for example, how you are going to use online data, real-time data streaming from the manufacturing processes or sensors, how you work with data streams, how you combine and utilize various processes and software tools, for example, building up more complex processes in a workflow, how you establish collaboration or data sharing or data integration, data feedback within a production chain across sites, across different companies, or inside one particular company. Working with specific challenging data, for example, multidimensional data sets, very large data sets, various of data, and so on. How you can use, for example, data analytics of your experiment, advanced security solutions, and so on. We acknowledge that you may not be able to address all of these issues inside one proposal, but we wanted to list these in order to guide your attention to things which CloudiFacturing is very specifically interested about. Also, please estimate the computing resources that you will need to conduct the experiment. So how many computing hours or how much storage you will require. These will be provided by the project as an in-kind contribution, but obviously in your proposal phase, we must know what kind of computation and storage resources you require, because we need to plan and we need to see whether these requirements are realistic or not. So that was section 4. Section 5 is again a maximum one-page description, and if you have been writing European proposals previously, then this section, as the previous ones, will be quite familiar for you. So this will be a kind of list of the activities which you are going to carry out. So these will be practically the tasks which you are carrying out. You give a number for this, you can give a name for that task, and you describe who is the lead participant for that particular task, who is responsible for the completion of that task, how many person months you estimate for that particular task, and what is the start and the end months of the task. So practically you have to provide a plan regarding your project. Now, when you plan these tasks, then please note that here below the table, there are a few tasks that are compulsory, and they would like you to incorporate in your table. And these are, you have to collect technical and usability requirements. And in this task, we will provide you support. So one of our project partners at the University of Nottingham is leading a task which is going to help you with involving other partners as well to collect technical and usability requirements. Then design and analyze suitable business models for the commercial exploitation of the results, again, a compulsory task. And as Andre already mentioned, SUPSI, a business-oriented research institute, is going to provide you support in that. The third one is you need to evaluate the outcomes of your experiment. Again, we are going to support you in this, and University of Nottingham, again, is leading this task when we evaluate how successful the implementation of your experiment was. And finally, you have to provide a task which is about monitoring your progress and results and writing quarterly progress reports and attending, if it is appropriate, and contributing to the project review meetings. So this is a requirement towards the European Commission that obviously we must report on the progress of the project, and you must contribute to this. So we ask you to include these 4 tasks definitely inside your project plan. And as it is said below, it is going to be carried out in collaboration with other CloudiFacturing partners. Now, besides your activities, we would like you to name your major milestones. So the milestones are achievements which are absolutely crucial for the progress and completion of your small project inside the CloudiFacturing project, and which are measurable and which has a timestamp on them. So these milestones should be for a certain date, and there should be a very clear criteria how the completion of this milestone can be checked. Okay, so that is the milestone. And then finally, you have to provide some internal deliverables, and these are outcomes of your project, which are documenting what you have done so far. And again, as I have mentioned above, in addition to these internal deliverables, there will be further obligations toward the CloudiFacturing project. For example, every second week we are having teleconferences where you have to give a kind of verbal feedback regarding your progress. In every 3 months, you have to provide a short progress report, and obviously you have to fulfill your final reporting obligations as well towards the European Commission and towards the project. So that was section 6. Now section 5. Section 6 is resources to be committed. So this is again the kind of usual budgeting section where you have to list and name all participants. You have to estimate how many person-months effort you think will be required for that particular partner to carry out the experiment. And you have to estimate based on this the personnel costs for that partner. Now, the personnel costs are typically calculated by your average monthly personnel costs times the number of person months which you estimate for that particular partner. So these are the direct personnel costs. On top of that, you have to add your other direct costs, which are typically, for example, travel budgets or smaller consumables or subsidence and so on. And then based on these, you have to calculate your indirect costs. And if it sounds complicated, we provided some kind of hints and support for this, how this can be and should be calculated. So, for example, indirect costs are calculated as 25% of the overall direct cost. So first you calculate your direct cost, which is personnel cost plus other direct costs, and then 25% of that one will be your indirect cost. This is in line with the EU regulations. Also, I would like to stress that if you are a non-profit organization, then you will be reimbursed 100% of your costs. But if you are a for-profit organization, including SMEs and all other companies, then it will be 70% of your overall costs, which we can cover. Again, this is 100% in line with current European Commission regulations, and that is the reason why we have to go and be selected this particular way of funding. So you have to provide details of your costs in the table, keeping the deadlines in mind. Sorry, keeping the guidelines in mind. If you got any issues or problems or questions, as it was emphasized before, you can always turn to our digital innovation hubs who will work with you and very happy to help you during the preparation phase. Now, the next section, section 7, is the consortium section, and this is again maximum 2 pages in length and maximum half a page per partner. So this means that if you have a small consortia, then this could be much shorter or will be much shorter, because then you just provide 1 page. If you got a bigger consortia, then this consortium description will be larger, but the maximum length is definitely not longer than 2 pages. And what you need to provide here, you need to provide like administrative information. So that is the description of the company, organization, what is the size, number of employees, revenue estimated, what is the country where it is headquartered, are there any international subsidiaries of the company, what is the area and sector of operation of the company. So describe your company very briefly, provide a web link to your company web page, and then maximum in 5 lines, describe 1 or 2 key personnel who will be involved in the project. Describe their profile, their gender, and what they are going to do inside the experiment within the CloudiFacturing project. Also, if you have been participating previously in European projects, then give some details of those projects. If you are new, then please explicitly state that you are new to European project. As Andrei again mentioned previously, we prefer partners, and the European Commission would like to extend obviously their scope and support new companies and especially new SMEs. So in case of experiment partners, new partners are definitely encouraged. Next one is administrative contact, so name, phone, email address, and so on, and then technical contact. So we envisage that these 2 persons, typically different, it could be the same obviously in case of very small companies, but sometimes this is different. We need a contact who we can contact regarding administrative support, for example, providing information towards the contracting period, signing, for example, legal documents, and so on. And we also need a technical contact who will be responsible for the actual technical work carried out in the CloudiFacturing project. And the last one is that involvement in other experiment proposal to CloudiFacturing. Again, if you are involved in multiple proposals, then please, in CloudiFacturing 1 call, please state that explicitly. So we would like to see if you are involved. Obviously, if you are involved in multiple proposals, there are certain rules which you have to keep in mind. So if multiple proposals of yours are accepted, then one particular partner will not get more than 100,000 euros overall from each project which they, so with the sum of each project they have applied. So that's the partner table. And that ends the core section of the proposal. There are 2 annexes, and regarding Annex 1, you definitely have to fill that section in. So there is an ethics questionnaire which goes through the major ethical issues which potentially could be foreseen regarding your experiment. We believe that many of these will not be relevant to you, and you will answer them no. But obviously, you have to give a consideration to each of these aspects, and you have to say whether you are having any of these ethical issues or not. So in the first part of the questionnaire, it's a very simple yes and no. You have to go through these points, like does your research involve human embryonic stem cells, yes or no, and then you just simply select the right answer. And this is all the points. I believe the most, probably the most relevant ones for many of you will be things like handling personal data or involving human participants. So sections number 2 and sections number 4 are sometimes, even in these manufacturing related experiments, are relevant questions. The others maybe not, but again, we would like your explicit answer for these particular questions as well. So please go through the questionnaire, do not neglect it, and answer all the questions which are included in the ethics question. Now, once you completed that, then you only have to provide further information in case you answered yes for any of the questions above. So if your answer to any of the questions above was yes, then you need to provide further information about ethical issues. So you have to submit an ethics self-assessment, which describes how the proposal meets national and international ethical and legal requirements regarding that particular aspect where you had to answer yes. So for example, if you collect personal data from participants because your software is working in that way that processes personal data, then you have to write justification and assurance in this ethical section that how you are planning to handle that personal data and how you assure that, for example, GDPR and national and international regulations are all kept in mind and fulfilled. Again, this only comes if you answered yes to any of the above questions. Obviously, if you answered no, but your case study still raises issues, then we still ask these questions in a later phase. So try to do this ethics self-assessment kind of as honestly as it is possible, because that will solve a lot of questions and issues for later. And finally, Annex 2 includes a sample of your individual assessment form, obviously without the actual scores and the actual evaluation. So there you will see what the reviewers are going to complete, and they are going to answer and score each of your answers for each of the sections with a score of 0 to 5. And each section has a weight in that sense that industrial relevance has a weight of 4. So that means that whatever score you get for that will be multiplied by 4 when the final score is calculated. All the other sections have a weight of 1. So those will be calculated with the weight of 1. But the first aspect will be with a weight of 4. Also, very importantly, this first aspect has a threshold of 3. So unless you score at least 3 in this first aspect, your proposal will not be considered for further funding, because we then regard it as not relevant from the industrial point of view for the CloudiFacturing project, and that will be an eliminating criteria. So that's very, very important that you address that particular criteria correctly. So overall, from this, you can get 50 marks altogether. And again, we have another threshold that if a proposal scores below 30 out of this 50, then that proposal is immediately eliminated. And obviously, if hopefully this will not happen, but if you don't have a sufficient number of eligible proposals who reach the thresholds at least, then we may have to kind of re-advertise the call. We very much believe and hope that this is not going to happen, but obviously this is a possibility. Also, at most 2 categories can be strictly below 3 points, not included in industrial relevance that has a threshold of 3. So that means that another threshold criteria is that from the other 6 aspects, you should not score below 3 marks in more than 2 aspects. So that is again a very, very important criteria. Regarding the selection, just very brief comment is that in case 2 or more proposals are reaching the same numerical score and lying at the cutoff of acceptance, then the project will take decision based on different further aspects. So, for example, regarding the cross-border nature of the proposal, regarding the number of SMEs that are involved, regarding how new this proposal is to the CloudiFacturing project, how much you are coming from new European regions, which we are not covering so far, and so on. Details of this can be seen and can be found in the Guide for Applicants document and in our FAQs. And I got to the end of the proposal, and I am very seriously running out of time here, so I will just very, very briefly flash up the other documents where you can find information about the open call. So the next one which is already published on our website, is the Guide for Applicants document. This is a slightly more detailed 20-page document which goes through all aspects of the open call, and this needs to be read together with the proposal template. So we very much suggest that when you complete the proposal template, you also have a look at the Guide for Applicants, because that includes very important information, additional information regarding the details of the call of the eligibility and how to complete the application form, which are not, because of the lack of space, could be included in the proposal template. Now, besides these, as I have already mentioned, there is an FAQ section on our website, and that already includes up to 40-something questions. So you can search this, and hopefully whatever major question you have, you can find it on the website. And as we already explained, you can contact one of our digital innovation hubs. So again, if you go into the relevant section of the website, then you will see that the contact details of our digital innovation hub partners are listed on the website. And if you got any direct questions, we are very much encourage you to make contact with these DIH partners. Further documents will be published very soon on the website. One is a technical description of the CloudiFacturing platform. This will make you better understand from the technical point of view what we are doing. So for example, it will describe the CloudiFacturing marketplace, the core CloudiFacturing services which we have developed or developing at the moment, and with which you have to interface when you are developing your own solution. So I believe I got to the end of this short overview, and I would like to give the word back to Andre if you would like to add anything, or if you would like to open the floor for questions.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Tamas. No, I mean, I have interrupted 2 times already to add things that I felt important. I think the rest of it has been very clear. I think we should open the floor now for questions from the audience. We have roughly 20 minutes left to answer questions that come up immediately, and we should make use of this time.
Just a reminder, if you want to do a question, you have to unmute yourself. You have a small icon as a microphone near your name, so if you click on it, you will be able to talk.
Hello, my name is Yvonne Badulescu. I'm calling in from Switzerland, representing the Geneva Business School. And I have a question for, I think it's probably in your FAQ. I looked quickly through it, but for companies and research institutions in Switzerland, this is also applicable? We can also apply?
Yes. So we already have partners from Switzerland, and as far as I know, there is no reason that partners from Switzerland cannot apply.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
By the way, I don't think you will find this direct answer in the FAQ section. So I believe this question is not directly in the FAQ.
That's true.
Yes, that's right. I saw something that I don't know. I didn't know how to interpret it, which is why I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
So are there any other questions? Well, in any case, as Andre and Tamas said, you have also in the CloudiFacturing website the contact details of the digital innovation hubs that are part of the CloudiFacturing project, so you can also address your questions to them in case there is something that you would like to ask.
And I think we will upload the webinar slides after the webinar ended. So then you also have this information that I was presenting at hand, and the links to the documents that Tamas was talking about are already on the website.
Okay, so I think we can leave it here. I would like to thank Andre and Tamas for the presentation. I hope that at least the people that is present here submit an application to the CloudiFacturing open call. And thank you very much.
Yeah, we have to thank all participants and the people that helped us with setting up the call, from Cloud SME and from Funding Box, and everybody that participated and contributed to the preparation, and the DIHs that will be your contact points. And of course, if you don't find the right DIH at the first stage, then feel free to contact us as well. So Tamas and me, we will also try to direct you to the right person. Good. So with these words, thanks to all of you. If there is more to come up, you can send questions as well. So, but I also think there is a lot that has to be digested probably, and then more questions will turn up. Yeah, thank you all, and have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Thank you. Good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Barbara, are you here?